Welcome, parents and students. This is Mr. Veszpeller's class, and today's homework is on page 85, Unit 1, Lesson 16, and it involves arrays and equal groups. They're word problems, and your student was asked to identify which method they would use to solve this problem. So the choices are, would you use an array multiplication, array division, equal groups multiplication, equal groups division with an unknown size group, equal groups division with an unknown multiplier meaning number of groups. Okay, in way of background, an array is when you arrange things in rows and columns. Another way of saying it, usually in a word problem, it's a number of rows and the number in each row. So my desks are in 4 rows and there's 5 students in each row. And so there's a number out here, there's a number up here, and then the total is in the middle. So how do you know whether you're going to multiply in an array or whether you're going to divide in an array? And here's how. If you know the total, if you know there's 20 kids in the class, that's the total. And you know you only want 4 rows. Then you divide, don't you? You divide 20 by 4, and then you figure out there's going to be 5 in each row. Well, what if you don't know what the total is, but you know, so that's division. If you know the total, it's division. What if you already know there's going to be 4 rows and there's 5 in each row? Well, then you multiply the 2. Then it would be an array multiplication. Then there's another way to figure out the word problem, and it's equal groups. Oh, by the way, in array, the magic word is rows. When you're looking at a word problem, if it has the word row in it, then you know it's going to be an array. Okay, in equal groups, you have 3 things: a total, you have a number of groups, and then you have a size of each group. Here's what it usually looks like here in Common Core. The total is represented by like a box, and then sometimes we know how many rows, or how many groups, I'm sorry. We have 4 groups. And then in each, the group could be anything from a basket, it could be a dog, so a basket with 5 apples in each one. Okay, it could be a horse, 4 horses, and they have to have new shoes put on them, new horseshoes. So it's 4 horses with 4 horseshoes. So the number inside represents the size of the group. And then depending on how many groups I have, this is the number of groups. How many groups do I have? Okay, and then you could have a total. The total could be Sally has 12 pencils. She has 4 friends. If she used up all her pencils and gave her friends the same amount of pencils, how many pencils would each friend receive? Okay, so we know the total, we know the number of friends or the number of groups. The question is, what's the size of the group? We don't know until we divide. So again, just like here, if you know the total and you have one of these outside numbers, you divide. Same thing in equal groups. If you have a total and you either have the number of groups or you have the size, you have 4. I know that if I have 12 pencils and I gave each friend 4 pencils, the question would be, how many friends, how many number of groups, how many friends do I have? And again, it's division. 12 divided by 4. So that would mean I have 3 friends. All right, let's look at these problems with that in mind. We did the first one and the second one. Let's go skip to number 3. The Happy Feet shoe store is having a sale. 10 pairs of shoes are displayed in each row. Here's the magic word, row. Means that we're going to use an array. So it's either A or B. Now they want us to put A, B, C, D, or E, depending on which method we're going to use to solve the problem. The minute I see row, it's either going to be A or B. If the rack has 8 rows, question, how many pairs of shoes are on sale? Okay, so pairs of shoes is going to be my label. So I know it's going to be rows. Now, do I know the total number? Do I have the total? No. But I have, I don't have the total, but I know how many rows and I know how many in each row. So we know that there's 8 rows. Let me draw it out. So we know that there's 8 rows, and we know that there's 10 pairs in each row. So if we have the 2 outside numbers, then we just multiply, and that gives us the total in the middle. That means we're going to, what? Multiply. So it's an array because we saw the word row. So it's one of these two, A or B. And because we know the row and the number of rows, but we don't have the total, then it's multiplication. So the answer is A, not B. And we do that by multiplying 10 times 8 equals 80. And now, is that a reasonable answer? There's 80 pairs of shoes on sale. Well, yes, because the store typically has at least 80 shoes, I would say. So that's a reasonable answer. 80, better, it would be better to say pairs of shoes. I just put shoes. Okay, number 4. Una has 5 goldfish. She bought 2 small water plants for each goldfish. Question, how many plants did she buy? Now this doesn't have the word rows in it, so it's going to be equal groups. So we have a box that represents the total, and that's what they want to know. What's the total? How many plants? That's going to be our label. How many plants did she buy? Total. It doesn't say total, or you could also say in all. So it's 5 goldfish. She bought 2 small water plants for each goldfish. So it's 5 groups of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the number of groups, there's 5 goldfish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, each goldfish has 2 small water plants. So we can put 2 here in each plant. And that's the size. The size equals 2. So if we have these 2 numbers, we have the 5 and we have the 2, and we're trying to find the total, then it's multiplication. So it's 5 groups of 2 equals 10. How many plants did she buy? She bought 10 plants. And that's reasonable. 10 plants is not a lot. Yolanda made 16 barrettes. She divided, that tells us to divide. So it's either division here or division there. Okay, she divided the barrettes equally among 4 friends. All right, it doesn't say rows, so we're not going to use an array. We're going to use an equal group. which means there's going to be a box that says total. She made 16 barrettes. She divided the barrettes equally among 4 friends. So do we have a total? Yes. The total is 6. She has 16 barrettes altogether. And she has 4 friends. How many barrettes did each friend get? Barrettes is our label. So are the friends holding barrettes or the barrettes holding friends? In other words, which one is the group? Is 4 friends a group, or is it the size of the group? It's the number of groups. She has 4 friends. So that's the number of groups. 4 friends. This is the number of groups. And then what do we put inside here? Well, that's what they want. How many barrettes? That's the question. We want to know the size. We don't know the size of the group. So remember we said if you know the total, but one of these outside numbers is missing, then you divide. So 16 divided among 4 friends is 4. 4 barrettes. And you can check your answer by multiplying. 4 times 4 equals 16. Yes. Carson has 12 baseball cards to give away. Oh, sounds like a total. He gives 3 cards to each friend. That means multiply or divide. Question: how many friends can he give cards to? Okay, so there's no word rows, so it's not going to be an array. So it's not A or B. It's either C, D, or E. C, D, or E. Now we have a total. He has total 12 cards to give away. So we have a total. What do we say if we have a total? If we have a total and we only have one number out here, that means we're going to divide. So it's going to be division, and it's not an array. It's going to be division. It's either D or E, so it's not a C. It's either D or E. Now, he gives 3 cards to each friend. So we know the size of the group is 3 because each friend gets 3. So 1, 2, 3. Another friend gets 1. 4, 5, 6. Another friend gets 1. 7, 8, 9. Another friend gets 1. 10, 11, 12. Stop. I ran out of cards. You could also put 3 dots instead to represent it, and then you just count up the dots. So what do we end up with? How many friends? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 friends. And we did that by dividing. 12 divided by 3. So what do we use? We're missing what? The group size? No, the group size was 3. We knew that. We were missing the multiplier. We had an unknown multiplier, which is the number of groups. The number of groups was 4. So the answer is E. Number of groups is E. And we did that because we had a total. We can divide. 12 divided the group size is 3. The answer is 4 friends. All right. Thank you for joining me. Good luck.